in this video, we're going to look at setting up a new account with a web host. Now, depending on the web host you choose, the process is going to be slightly different. This one happens to be called SiteGround, but it's going to be similar if you use any other large hosting company. So let's go up to web hosting, and you can see you've got a choice of different types of hosting there. Now, if you're starting off with a new blog or a new small business website, the chances are your traffic is going to be quite low to start with and will gradually increase over time. And in that case, shared hosting is likely to be your best option. Most web hosting companies are going to have a range of maybe 3 or so plans within shared hosting, so you can really pick something that meets your needs. As we're just starting, I'm going to go for the startup plan. You can see the features there and the price just there. That's displayed in pounds because I'm in the UK, but it will typically give you the price in your local currency. So let's go to get started. And with SiteGround, it gives me the option of registering a domain for me, which is very convenient, and in fact it even includes that free for the first year. So whether domain registration is included or not is a feature you might want to look out for when you choose your web hosting company. So I'm going to register a new domain. So I've just picked Awesome Club, just as an example. And let's see if the .com is available for that, and proceed. The .com of Awesome Club isn't available. It's telling me that awesomeclub.co.uk is available, and all the other options that you can see there, possibly going to avoid Awful Club, just there. Now, because I'm a Brit, I'm in the UK, it's probably going to make sense for me to go for awesomeclub.co.uk. If you wanted the .com version, and you may well want that, then you might want to look at having what's known as a modifier, so another word in there to separate it from the awesomeclub.com that's already out there. So you could call it the Awesome Club, for example, or Awesome Club Online, or Awesome Club HQ, something like that to give you a unique domain name. But I'm going to go for awesomeclub.co.uk. And I'm going to proceed. And then it needs me to fill in my contact information and my tax information. So of course you would go ahead and do that. I've now added my contact details, I've entered my credit card details and paid for my new web hosting, and it then wanted me to log into the site, which I have done. And I'm now at the SiteGround account setup wizard. Now at this stage, what you see here is going to be different depending on your web hosting company. So I'm just going to walk you through the account setup wizard for SiteGround. Let's do that now. So I'm going to start a new website at awesomeclub.co.uk. And it's going to be a personal blog, but it could equally be a business or online shop. And I'm going to use WordPress and proceed. There you can see the email address that I added when I set my account up, and I need to now add a username and password for WordPress. I'll do that now. And then I need to choose a web design template to be installed. So let's just pick one that I like the look of there. I'll have this one. And then submit. And it now says, congratulations, I've completed my account setup. And now that's done, I've got some links just here, so I can take a quick tour of my customer area, or I can do my getting started tutorial, or I can manage my accounts, or any of the other options that are available just here. you how to install your WordPress website using an application called Softaculous. But first, let's talk about where I am at the moment. So I've created my account with a web hosting company. This one happens to be called SiteGround, but what I'm going to show you is going to be very similar if you're using a different web hosting company. So I just need to install WordPress. So the first thing I need to do is find my way to cPanel. I've just logged into SiteGround, I've gone to my accounts, and there's a Go to cPanel button. In your hosting it may be slightly different, but the chances are it won't be dramatically different from what you can see there. So we're looking at cPanel, and let's pause for a minute and just explain what cPanel is. Well, cPanel is a control panel that allows you to manage files, applications, and your email hosted on your server. And it's used by many web hosting companies, so although I'm using SiteGround, yours probably won't look too much different to that if your hosting company is using cPanel. Then we need to find our way to Softaculous, and you can see just here it's under Auto Installers. So as you can see, Softaculous is an auto-installer application for cPanel, and it works a bit like a wizard for setting up your WordPress site. So you can set it up in just a few clicks. Let's click on that. And of course we want to install WordPress. Now I'm going to complete the fields on this screen. I'm going to stay with the protocol that's there, and I'm going to stay with awesomeclub.co.uk, that's the domain I want to use. The directory I can leave blank because I just want to use awesomeclub.co.uk. Now down to the site settings, let's type in those boxes just there. And then moving down, it's already entered an admin username, which isn't really what I want, so I'm going to put my own in there. And it's always best to avoid using admin as the admin username because of security reasons. It's given me a password. Now I'm going to copy and paste the username and password so I don't forget them. It's chosen an admin email for me. I haven't set up an email for this account yet. So if you're in that situation, you might want to change that email address to an email address that's actually set up and in use, so you don't miss any notifications. Finally, the language, that's English, that's fine. The rest of that's fine. So I'm just going to click install. And there we go, the software has been installed successfully. Let's go to the overview. And there's my current installation. Now you can click on your new domain, or you can just type it into your address bar, of course. The chances are it will take a few hours, maybe 24 hours, for that website to be live online, so don't worry if there's nothing there immediately after you've installed it. Now we've connected WordPress and the database, we need to install WordPress. So if you happen to have closed the window in between the previous step, which is connecting the database with WordPress, and this step, just go to your URL. Mine is awesomeclub.co.uk in this example, and it will bring you up on this screen. So we need to fill in these fields. We've got the site name, which you can change later, but it makes sense for this one to just call it Awesome Club. And then the username is going to be the username you use to log in to WordPress. And it's highly recommended that you don't use admin as the username, because that makes it easy for hackers to get into your site. So choose something other than admin. And then similarly you need a nice strong password, and it's provided one for me there. It's a good idea to copy and paste that username and password into that file again so that you can remember it when you come to log in. You need to put in your email address, and it's important that this is one that works because it's the email address that WordPress will send your password resets to should you need one. And it's a good idea at this stage to tick this box because you don't really want search engines indexing your site when you're still setting it up. Much better to switch that option on when your site is ready and complete. So now we just install WordPress and it's installed. Let's log in and make sure everything is okay. So I've entered my username and password and I'm going to click login. And what we see next is the WordPress dashboard, and if you see that, you know that your installation has gone absolutely fine and everything is as it should be. If you have an error message or anything different from that, then you may have a problem with your installation, and the best thing to do is delete the old installation that you had and on your web host and then work through the installation process again. Chosen a theme for your WordPress site, you'll want to customize it at least a little to make it look different from all the other websites out there that have the same theme. Now the best place to do that is in the customizer. So we go to Appearance and Customize. And the reason why it's best to go to the customizer is because you can see the changes you make as you make them, and you don't have to keep going through to the site itself to see the impact that those changes have made. So here we are inside the customizer. You can see that the active theme at the moment is called 2014, and we can change that from inside the customizer. Let's do that now. The themes I have installed on this site are called Midnight City and 2015. Let's preview 2015. There it is, and let's save that. So we'll change themes to 2015. And then let's go to the customizer again, and let's look at the site identity. Now this is where you can change the site title and the tagline. The tagline is just here on the site and the site title is there. You can remove those if you want to, because you might want a logo for the website, and in that case you wouldn't want the site title and the tagline displayed as well as the logo. You can change that just by editing the text. Now let's look at the colours, and at the moment we've got the default colours. We can change the background colour. Let's change that to this orange colour you can see there, and we can change the header and sidebar colour as well. Let's try blue. Let's go back to the main menu of the customizer. You can also change the header image, so I'm going to click on Add New Image. That takes me through to the media library. I've already got an image I want to use. If you didn't have that there, you would go to Upload Files and upload the image to your website, but let's pick this one for now and select and crop. Let's just move that to where we want it to be, crop the image, and you can see it's put that image in the header just there. Now it's looking a little bright at the moment, but the great thing about the customizer is you can go back and you can edit it very easily and just see what it looks like. Now you can see from that you can't just upload any image and have it look good. You need to think about the way the image looks, because it's a very specific shape and size on the screen, and you can see that some images you would just cut off parts that you would want to see in the image. Let's look at the background image now, and we can select another image, and let's choose that image. And you can see it's not the best looking website in the world. As I said, you need to really give this some thought. But you can see the image I've selected has gone in the background behind the main white box where the content of the page is going to be shown. And you can have the background image tiled, so that's lots of small images. You can have it horizontally or vertically. You can position the image, and the background attachment allows you to control whether the background image moves with you when you scroll down the page or whether it's fixed as you scroll down the page. And we might want to change the colour of the fast startup because it's blue against a blue background. So let's go back to colours and select colour. Maybe let's try white. There we go, that stands out much better. If we're happy with that, we can save and publish. Then close the customizer. That's what the site looks like. As you can see, it's going to take a little bit more work to make it actually look good, but you can see you've got lots of potential to customize your site and really make it different from all the other WordPress sites out there, even though... So we're looking at the main homepage of our WordPress site, and it's a blog. So that's the top post, and then if we scroll down, you'll see the post beneath that and the post beneath that. And that means each time we publish a new post, that will go to the top of this page and it will push down any of the older posts. Now, on many websites, you don't want that on your homepage. What you want is a single static page that isn't going to change each time you publish some fresh content. And you can change the settings on your WordPress site so that a static page is shown as the homepage rather than showing the blog post page as the homepage. Let's take a look at how that works. So we're going to the dashboard first of all, and we need a page that's going to act as our static home page. So let's create that page now. So I'll just add a new page in the usual way. I'm going to call it main page so it's easy to remember later on. And I'm just going to type some very simple text in it. Now let's publish that post. And the URL of that post is main page and the title is main page. So that's what we're going to be looking for in the next step. Now what we do is go to settings and reading. And you can see at the moment the front page displays your latest posts. That's the current situation. We want to change it so that it displays a static page instead. And we want our front page to be main page, that's that page we just set up. And we want our post page, so our blog in effect, we want that to be called blog, which is another page I already happen to have set up. And then we've got various other settings on that page that we can change. But let's leave the rest of that for now and just go down to the bottom and save changes. And now let's take a look at the site. And you can see instead of that posts page that we had before, we've got a static home page. Now it's not very exciting at the moment. Of course we could edit that in any way we want. We can change the titles, we can change the text, we can put images in and make it much better than it is at the moment. But that's how you change from a blog post page to a static home page. Something else we might want to do would be to change the menu so that it displays our blog page there as well. So now you understand what a WordPress plugin is and how to update them. You'll probably want to know which plugins should you install on your site. Well, that's going to depend on what you want your site to do, but I can give you some examples of the types of plugins that most WordPress sites have and the types of plugins that you may find helpful on your particular site. So let's start with security plugins then. These come in two main types. The first one protects your site from attack, so a plugin that limits how many login attempts someone can have to your site is going to be quite useful. And also you've got backup plugins that, should the worst happen and you lose the data on your site, you have a backup off-site somewhere else, and it's very easy to restore your site to the way it was before. Next, you might want social sharing tools, because social media is a very important way to promote your content and your website now. The social sharing tools make it very easy for other people to share your content as well. It's a great idea to have a contact form on your site so people can easily contact you, and also it reduces spam compared to just putting your email address on your site. So you can get simple contact form plugins for free. If you want something more sophisticated, for example, a form that people can use to opt into your mailing list, then there are some premium plugins that you can pay for too. If you have a site that's very dependent on images, maybe you're a photographer or an artist, you might want a Lightbox plugin to display your images. Another type of plugin is the SEO plugin, the Search Engine Optimization plugin, and they enable you to optimize your site and the content on it for search engines. Many of the features I've just mentioned are included in a free plugin called Jetpack. Now, Jetpack will be great to get you started. You may find you want more functionality as your site grows and what you want to do with it develops, but it's a great place to start. So I have Jetpack installed just here. And you can see that it can help you with your site's performance and security. It can give you some traffic stats, and if we click on the other 27 Jetpack features. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these in detail, but you can see it's got things like extra sidebar widgets, it's got the contact form that I mentioned, and if we scroll down, it's got Publicize, which will help you with your social media sharing, site stats, and many more. So if you're just getting started, I recommend taking a look at Jetpack just to get used to the additional features that a plugin can give you, and then you'll have a better idea of your site's requirements, and you can maybe look at some premium plugins after that to give you that greater functionality that you may well need. There are several plugins that you can use to optimize your site for search engines, and Yoast SEO is one of the most popular. It's available in both free and premium versions, and in this video we're going to look at the free version. SEO is a complex subject, so we're just going to look at the features you need to get you started. Also, keep in mind that some of the features of Yoast SEO are for advanced users only, so don't worry about those for now. First, let's install the Yoast SEO plugin in the usual way. So let's go to Plugins and Add New, and then search for Yoast SEO. And there it is. Let's install. So now it's installed, let's activate. And you can see it's been added to my dashboard. Let's go to General. And this is where you can add general information about your site. If you click on Start Tour, that takes you through all the features of this plugin, and I really recommend you take a look at that. But because we're keeping this simple, we're going to focus on the title tag. And just to explain what the title tag is, here I've gone to Google and just searched for Yoast SEO plugin, just as an example. And then just here you can see the search results. So you've got the title of that page or that post, you've got the link beneath that. Anybody searching for this page would know exactly what that page was about and would be tempted to click through and read more on the page. So these are the things we want to set up for our pages and posts. So let's optimize a post for search engines. Now I've got a post right here. Let's scroll down to look at the Yoast section. And just here you'll see that snippet and title and URL that we saw on the Google search. Under that we've got a box to put our focus keyword in, which we haven't actually put in yet. and we've got the content analysis. So the Yoast plugin gives you a traffic light system to tell you how good your optimization is. So not great at the moment, a couple of reds, a few greens, and let's go and optimize. Now my focus keyword for this particular post is going to be self-confidence tips. Now in actual fact, that key phrase is a bit too broad if you were going to use it on your own site. I would suggest using something like self-confidence tips for freelancers, but you really do need to do your keyword research to find the best key phrase for this page and to fit it into your wider site's goals as well. You can see already that I've got some more greens and some more ambers on my content analysis, so my optimization is improving already. The next thing I'm going to do is edit that snippet. And the reason I want to do that is because if somebody searched for this, they would see this really not very useful piece of text here, and that wouldn't really tempt them to click through. So we'll change it to something that's going to be more useful. Now that's given me an amber score there because the meta description, that's the name of that text that I've added there, because I can fit more text in there than I put at the moment. And actually I haven't put the key phrase in there, which is going to help too. So let's do that. And you can see it's now gone green. Let's go to the main body of the post now. And I've got a nice clear URL that's got my key phrase in there. I need to change my title so that if at all possible I can fit my key phrase in it. We do, however, want to keep our title appealing to our human visitors, so we wouldn't want to just have a really keyword stuffed title that wasn't attractive for anyone to read. Now we can go to the photo and edit that. And you can see my alternative text doesn't relate to the content at all. Let's change that. And it would be good if we had that key phrase in the first paragraph. Now let's scroll down and see what Yoast thinks of all that. And you can see far more greens there. So that's a reasonably well optimized post now. And if you look up here, it gives you a traffic light there so that you can see at a glance how well optimized the post is. And then if we just update, there you have it, our post optimized for that key phrase. Now if you want to change the structure of that title or the structure of any URLs on the site, you can use Yoast for that. So you would go to SEO, titles and metas, and you can change your title separator there, the title template for the home page there, and the title template for the other posts and pages just there. A sitemap is a file that lists the URLs for your site, and that makes it easier for search engines to crawl your site. It can allow you to include additional information about each URL, for example, when it was last updated, how often it changes, and how important it is in relation to other URLs in the site. If you already have an SEO plugin, check that first, as it may already have a sitemap feature. Yoast SEO and All-in-One SEO Pack both have this, for example. If not, you can install a sitemap plugin. Please note though that if you plan to switch from a sitemap plugin to Yoast SEO, you must disable the sitemap plugin and remove all the files before you enable the sitemap feature in Yoast SEO. In this video, we're just going to look at the basics. For more in-depth information, please take a look at the documentation of the plugin that you're using. So let's take a look at the XML sitemaps feature of the Yoast SEO plugin. Let's go down to SEO, which is the Yoast plugin, and then go to XML sitemaps, and you can see it's enabled, so it's already working. And we've got a general tab just here where we can click and see our sitemap, And then something else you might want to look at is the post types tab. So you can choose whether to include your posts, pages or media in your sitemap if you want to, and you can exclude specific posts if you want to do that as well. Always remember the Save Changes button. And that's all you need to do to configure the XML sitemap using the Yoast SEO plugin. As I said, if you prefer, there are many other XML sitemap plugins out there. You may want to place images in the sidebar of your WordPress site to advertise a product of your own or one being sold by a client of yours. Or you may want to show your support for a cause or campaign. You'll want to make sure that the image looks clear and crisp and that it fits comfortably in your sidebar, like this one. You can add an image by typing HTML code into a text widget, but you'll probably find it easier to use a plugin. The plugin I'm going to use is called Image Widget, and I've already installed and activated it. So let's go to the dashboard. So here's the dashboard. I've gone to Appearance and Widgets, and I've already set this widget up. And this is the image that you just saw in the sidebar. Let's delete that and set it up again so you can see how I did it. So this is my sidebar, and I need to drag the widget into the sidebar. So I'm going to look for Image Widget, drag it over. So I'm going to click Select an Image. That takes me to my media library. I've already uploaded the image I want to the media library. So I insert it into the widget. It's given me a title, but I'm going to change that. And then I'll put a caption in. And this is where you put the link of the page you want your visitors to go to when they click on the image. Now normally that would be the individual product page for this book on Amazon, but this is just an example, so I've just put the Amazon homepage in. And then you can choose whether to open a new window or not when that person clicks on the image. And then finally I'm going to choose Center as the alignment, and I'm going to save. Now let's look at the image in the sidebar. So there's the image, the title, the caption, and if we click on the image, it takes us through to the product page that we entered in the widget. If you have the Jetpack plugin, it comes with an image widget very similar to the one we've just been looking at. Here it is. Let's drag it up. And you can see it does look very similar to the one we've just seen. The main difference is that instead of there being a button that goes off and fetches the image for you, you have to paste the image URL in this box just here. So let's go and do that. So I need to go to my media library, click on the image, click on the link and copy it, and I can close that now and go back to Appearance and Widgets, go back to the Jetpack image widget, and then I put the image URL just here. And I just did a straightforward Control-C for copy and Control-V for paste, and then the rest of it is very similar to what we saw with the previous image widget. When you first install WordPress, the default URL structure of your blog posts is this, where N is the post ID number. You may want to change this because it's not very pretty, and you can't tell anything about the content of the blog post from looking at the link. It's much better to have this type of format. example.com/the post name. To change this, go to Settings, and permalinks. And then choose the structure that you'd like. Please note that it's best to do this when your site is brand new, as it will change the links to all your blog posts. So you started your blog at WordPress.com and now you're ready to take control of your site and host it yourself. First, you'll need an account with a web hosting provider. If you already bought your own domain name, then you can add it when you set up your web hosting account. If not, you can buy one as you set up your web hosting account. If your domain name is pointing to your WordPress.com blog, you'll need to change the name servers to your new site. Your web hosting company should have some support files explaining how to do this. Then you'll need to install WordPress on your web host server. Now we're ready to export our blog from WordPress.com. So let's go to WP Admin and then Tools and Export. You can get the WordPress.com team to guide you through the transfer for $129, but let's do it for free and we'll start the export. Then we want to choose which content to export, and we're going to export all of the content because we want to move the entire blog over to our self-hosted blog. And then we click Download Export File. So now I've logged into my self-hosted WordPress site. This is one that I've just set up. I've done nothing else with it at all. And I need to go to Tools and Import, because we're going to start the import process. And then we need to choose the blogging platform that we are moving our blog over from. So that's WordPress. And then we need to install the WordPress importer and activate it. And then we need to import that file that we exported from WordPress.com. And it's put it in the Downloads folder on my C drive. And there it is. Open that up. And then we upload the file and import. I'm going to go with the import author that it suggests, but you could create a new user there if you wanted to. And then I'm going to submit. And now it's done. So if we go to Posts and All Posts, you can see that all the blog posts have been imported from that file that we uploaded. It's a good idea to now set your old blog to private so that you don't have two blogs which could confuse people. You may also like to redirect your users from your old blog to your new site. This will mean that your blog is easy to find and you retain your search engine rankings. You'll need to pay WordPress.com for this service too, and this is where you can find it. So I'm back in the dashboard of my old WordPress.com site, and I've gone to the URL that you can see on the screen right now, and that takes me to the redirect a site screen. I just need to put my domain name in there, that's of my new blog, and click go, and that will charge me $13 a year to do my redirects for me. Google Analytics is a great way to track how many visits your site has, where your traffic comes from, and how long visitors spent on your site. To set up Google Analytics, sign up or log in to Google Analytics with your Google password. Then create a Google Analytics account. Fill in the information about your website and then scroll down and click Get Tracking ID. Accept the terms of service. And here's the tracking code, so let's copy that. We need to install this on our WordPress website, Some themes will give you a field to enter tracking codes, but if not, you can install a plugin called Headers and Footers. Let's do that now. So I'm going to add a new plugin. And install. And activate. And then if we go to settings, there's our header and footer plugin. And then this is where we can paste code that needs to go in the header section of every page. So I've just pasted our Google Analytics code in there. And save. And then you can track your website statistics from within Google Analytics, although it may take 24 hours for those results to come through. Let's now take a look at the basic settings you need to know to use your WordPress website. So let's go down to Settings, and we're going to take a look at General, Writing, Reading, Discussion, Media and Permalinks. Now the remaining three are just there because I have installed plugins, and this is where I can control some of the settings on those plugins. So just ignore the bottom three, and in fact on your site you may have some other settings there that have come from your plugins. Now I'm not going to go through every single one of those in detail because that would take quite a long time, so I'm just going to show you the things you need to know to get started. Let's start with General. So here on General we've got the site title, we've got the tagline of the site, those are a few words that explain what the site's about. You've got your URL for your site. Those will have been set up when the site was set up, and in general you're best to leave those well alone unless you've got a very good reason for changing them and you're clear why you're doing that. You've got the email address that is used for admin purposes, so any notifications you get from your WordPress site will go to that email address. Now you can have different members of your site, so for example you could be the administrator of the site and you can control everything on the site. You may have someone else who posts your blog posts for you, and you can set them up as a member of your website. This checkbox here is how you control whether anyone can set themselves up as a member of the website, or you can leave that blank and you are then in control of setting that up yourself. Now if a new user can add themselves to your site, you want to control the level of access they have to your site. Of course, you wouldn't want them to go in and set themselves up as an administrator, and that's how you set the default role for a new user. Then we've got the time zone, we've got the date format for your site and the time format. Pretty self-explanatory those. Let's move on to writing. You can set the default post category here, so when you create a new post and you maybe forget to set the category, it will by default go to uncategorized unless you change it there. You can also post via email, so you can send an email to your WordPress site and it will post that email as a blog post. That's where that's set up. And then we've got update services, and to help promote your blog posts, whenever you post one, WordPress has the ability to send a ping, so tell some update services that you have in fact published a new post. I won't go into too much detail on that because if you click on update services it will tell you all about that on the WordPress Codex, which is like the WordPress user manual. Let's go down to reading, and here you can choose whether your front page displays your latest posts or a static page. You can control how many blog pages are shown and whether it shows the full text of the post or just a summary. If you are setting up your new site and you don't want search engines to index the site, you can tick that box, but in general you want people to find your site, so you tend to leave that unticked. And these are email messages that are sent out when somebody follows your blog or follows comments on your blog, and you can edit those. The discussion section, that controls your comment settings. So let's just have a look at an example here. To control spam a little bit, you can make it so that when somebody leaves a comment, they have to fill out their name and email, or you can make it so that they need to register on your site and be logged in to be able to comment. Going down to media, that controls the sizes of your images that are uploaded. And then going down to permalinks. The permalink settings are where you can control the URLs of your posts. So you can choose, for example, this format, so you've got the domain name followed by the date and the name of the post, or any of the others here, or you could have the domain name followed by just the name of the post without the date in it. That's up to you to decide. And don't forget that when you change any settings, make sure you save them. Important to keep your WordPress site up to date. That's partly because when the site is updated, you may get new functionality or you may have bugs that are fixed, but also because security is very important with WordPress, and the updates that come through will have some security updates in there. So there are three things you're going to need to update on your WordPress site. That's WordPress itself, the themes, and the plugins that you have on your site. So let's start with the WordPress updates. This site is currently running the most up-to-date version of WordPress at the time I'm recording this. And if you look at the dashboard, you'll see that that's WordPress 4.3.1. That's the version. And if that version was out of date, it would tell me right there that there was a newer version available, and it would allow me to update right from the dashboard. But let's go take a look at the updates section over here, because you can also update your site from here. Now that's just confirming what I just said. So I have the latest version of WordPress. Now WordPress will update the very small updates itself, so you don't need to worry about that. The larger ones, it will give you the option to update or not update, so you can look at the features before the update goes ahead. Now if it needed updating, there would be buttons right here, and I would click those and it would update for me. At the moment, the options I have are to reinstall, should I want to do that. It's unlikely, but you have the option there if you need it. And you can download WordPress in its entirety if you want to, again using that button. So that's the updates to WordPress. Let's go to the section beneath, and that's about plugins. So these are the plugins that need updating. Now I definitely do need some updates for my plugins, and it's showing me the 4 plugins here that need updating. I could select all and click update if I wanted to from there. I'm not going to, because I want to show you the plugin screen as well. Or I could view the details of those updates before I go ahead and update them. Let's go over to plugins here on the main menu, and that 4 indicates that I have 4 plugins that need updating. So let's take a look at those on this menu. And you can see the plugins that need updating are shown in pink, and there's a new version of Backup Buddy available. For example, I can view the details of that, or I can just simply click update. If you have a lot of plugins, you may want to update them in bulk, and you can do that by going to update available just here, and then you can select all your plugins that need updating, and you can update in one go just there. And now I'm going to click the apply button, and you can see there that the plugins are being updated. You may need to wait a few seconds or a few minutes for the process to complete. And we can see down there all updates have been completed. So we've checked that WordPress is up to date and our plugins are up to date. Let's go take a look at our themes. And themes are in appearance and themes. And very similar to the plugins, there would be links telling us the features that had changed and how to update. At the moment my themes are up to date, so I don't need to do that, but that's where you'd go if they did need updating.